I wanted to take a minute today at the beginning of the podcast and say thank you to our sponsor, Huber Engineered Woods. Huber has actually been a sponsor of the podcast since 2020 when we decided to start this little endeavor. Without our sponsors, this content is probably not something that happens. But I think the best part about having Huber as a partner on this is it's an incredibly authentic alignment. Peter, Steve, and I all use Huber Woods. I've been using Advantech Subfloor for coming on probably 21 years now. I've been using Zip System and Zip System with the insulation on the back, the Zip R, since 2013. It's a system that I believe in. That systems approach where things play well together. They have design parameters that allow you to use their system for what you're working on. It works. Their tech support's there. Their knowledge is there. I've never had an issue with their product, and it's a great thing that they've decided to sponsor the podcast. So thank you, Huber Engineered Woods.
Welcome to the Unbod.
Leave that in, please.
The Unbob.
Welcome to the Unbuild It podcast. I'm your host, Pete Yost, and I've got my two excellent companions, Steve Basic and Jake Bruton.
Hello.
Hello.
We're going to do some of our ever popular Q&A, and I'm just going to start off by reading the very first one. I think we're going to try to do three, but we'll see how she flies. Okay?
Why does that have to be she?
I don't know why that expression is female, tell you the truth.
Witches.
It's his boating heritage.
Boating heritage.
Yeah, your nautical.
Oh, there she blows.
The boat's
Okay.
always a lady. The ocean's a lady.
Good afternoon. First off, I really appreciate the podcast. I always enjoy the content you put out. My question is part building science, part constructability. I'm looking at putting a T&G wood plank ceiling into a home, climate zone 7, vented attic with roof trusses. And I'm curious about the best approach for installing the system. A vapor retarder attached to the trusses provides for a lighter weight installation, but a zip panel provides continuous backing for nailing and working warped boards into place. What would be your preference? Am I missing a building science aspect between these two products or approaches that could cause concern? Thank you, Mark. So what do we tell Mark?
I think there's some misconception there on what kind of nail base you're going to create with a 7/16 OSB or zip on the ceiling. For starters, if you're using 3/4 T&G, beating that stuff into place and nailing it down and getting it to stick into 7/16 substrate is not necessarily going to work if it's quite crooked. So I think that assumption in his question is probably not as correct as he thinks it might be, unless he's buying number one material.
Yeah, cull out the crooked stuff and toss it.
Yeah, but a lot of people like
pieces.
When they buy T&G, they like the knots, they like the character, they like.
No, but I'm saying if it's all twisted and warped, cut it in half and use it on the ends.
Well, let's start with the basic approach. Let's congratulate him that a lot of building science projects I work on in the Northeast is T&G plank on ceilings without anything behind it, and the air leakage through that we know is just crazy ass.
Yeah.
So the idea that he's putting up something behind it could be drywall, it could be a structural panel, or it could be a membrane, but at least he's doing something to be the dedicated air control air behind this material.
He said climate zone 7?
Yep. Climate zone 7, yeah. Okay. And he said it's part a building science question, but also part constructability. So let's deal with the constructability first, which is, I don't know if I had a choice of running, he's going to be running the T&G boards perpendicular to the trusses, and maybe that's a factor. Maybe he needs to be able to nail into the base.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
The normal aesthetic choice would be that, though.
Yeah, possibly.
To do perpendicular to the trusses?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So that's one thing to consider, that the constructability without that sheathing panel, if you're going parallel to the trusses, that would be kind of weird. So do we need a vapor retarder behind this system?
Well, we need an air barrier.
We need an air barrier.
We need a control layer, yeah.
Right. So in terms of the building science side of this, the most important thing we're going to consider is whether or not we have an air control layer at the ceiling. Because with stack effect in the winter, the primary movement of that air is up and through the TNG, and there's nothing to stop it. All hell breaks loose in the attic. And he's got a vented attic with roof trusses. So do you guys have any perspective on, from a constructability, which one's going to be easier to make into an air control layer?
Yes.
And that would be?
Oh.
Instead of just saying
So
this.
I'm going to give them options. 3, actually. So put the trusses up, and then you have the option of doing something like a membrane, Sigma-Rex, drywall, or zip. On the outside of those, I would do 2x4s, 16 inches on center on the flat, and then attach my boards to that. It gives me an electrical raceway inside the air barrier and allows me to put those at 16 inches on center. If you want them tighter, you can go to 12 inches on center.
And if you're a full 2x4 depth there, that allows you enough space to put a traditional electrical box, residential plastic
so
electrical
put fan
box.
or whatever.
So you're running framing lumber perpendicular to the trusses, and that becomes the nail base for your wood paneling, or your wood
And
TNG.
it's 3.5 inches now, not an inch and a half. So you have a much wider for your butt joints and all of that.
And if you needed to go with your TNG perpendicular to your trusses, do you just...
I'd put the 2x4s on top of the trusses and just have a 24-inch spacing.
Yeah.
And
nobody's walking on it. Doesn't matter if it is slightly spongy feeling.
Yeah.
Like nobody's ever going to touch it again after you climb down.
But that gives you the option to do zip, drywall, or you just have to make sure whatever you do, if you do drywall, you tape all the joints, and then the beauty is you're never going to see it. So you could tape the drywall.
Right. You don't have to finish it
to the
with
wall
joint compound.
drywall. You could just tape it with Sigma-Fentrum or something.
Paint it black so that when those seams
Boards
start
open.
to open up or knots fall out, that you're not seeing white drywall behind it.
And by adding furring strips, whether it's 3/4 or an inch and a half,
I
with
do
a
an inch and a half, though.
a 2x4, you are eliminating pretty much all penetrations of that air control layer plane.
Well, yes. I would say you're offering a path for all of the electrical to run. The choice to cut through the membrane or the air barrier is the builder. So I'm not eliminating.
Right.
I'm eliminating, or
You're providing an opportunity.
I'm providing an alternative to cutting a number of holes in that air barrier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do we need a smart vapor retarder for this assembly in Climate Zone 7?
Is it a vented? I'm assuming it's a vented roof.
It's a vented roof.
He said vented.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason to.
We get this a
worry about
lot. People confusing air control layers with vapor retarders. And in this case, if you put up OSB or zip for the ceiling, you've already got a bit of a vapor retarder that's built into the
You're
system.
slowing it down.
Right. So a big part of this is that I have never seen a roof get into trouble. An attic get into trouble when your computer just went to sleep and you should have fired up again. I've never seen it be a diffusion problem.
Yes.
It's always related to the air leakage. And it's interesting that if he's in Climate Zone 7, this is where poly, 6 mil poly, is pretty popular. So bully to him for giving up on what's probably the default in his region, which
absolutely is a vapor barrier.
A class 1 vapor barrier or retarder, and pretty hard to tape, frankly.
Yeah.
So the question of whether he's missing any building science aspect of this, the answer is no. You're putting your money on the right thing, which is the air control layer. And you've got enough vapor retarder there with what you're talking about with any of those elements. You don't need the smart vapor retarder in this combination. Would it be successful?
Yes.
Well, sure it would be. Would you either of you say that the sheathing approach is easier to get an air control layer than the membrane or not?
I think it comes down to the team executing and availability of products and what your timelines are.
Yeah, and it depends on like the sale. Are we talking this room is 14 foot square, or is this room 42 by 22?
Mm-hmm.
Right, because like stretching that stuff out, it becomes a little bit of a
I guess
problem.
Having been a carpenter, I like stiff sheets a lot better than roll goods when I'm trying to create a continuous plane.
Yeah, but I hate lifting heavy crap over my head.
There is that.
Yeah.
Funny story though, the very first time I put up drywall myself in Brattleboro, somebody said, why are you complaining about this? Just go to get a drywall lift. And I thought, yeah. And then I went and used it for this, and I was angry because of all the times I was like trying by myself to use a T-Deadman and get it up. And it was so easy to use a drywall lift.
Yes. I had a
modern man.
A detached 2-car garage that I was supposed to start not too long after I took over the business.
Mm-hmm.
And my one employee quit like the day we poured concrete for it. And I was like, screw it, I'll do it by myself. It was like a 28 by 36 or something like that. And I set the trusses with a lift, but that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And I got all the way to hanging drywall by myself and was perfectly fine. And then when I started hanging 12-foot sheets of rock in the ceiling of that thing, even with a drywall lift, I was like, this was the worst mistake ever. Why the hell would I think that I could do this? But I spent days on the job by myself, just cursing without the radio on, just pissy. I went from, I'm going to be a superhero and do this by myself and not drop the ball on timeline for these people and all this too.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. Why did I think that I could?
The folly of youth. Okay. Question number 2. Aging in place design, but how do you handle exterior doors? Gentlemen, I'm in the process of building our dream home and have spent the last 2 to 3 years absorbing as much knowledge on passive house design and techniques and materials. I have also been planning on this being the forever home and to grow old in it. Not grow mold in it, to grow old in it. With that, I have designed larger door openings, wider hallways, everything on one level. But the one thing that has not been able to track down is how to handle zero entry for the front door from the garage, and our Schuko lift and slide door heading to the concrete patio. I have attached my attempt at a detail and appreciate any insights you might have. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Brandon. So this is about, and I think maybe he called it aging in place. Maybe that's what we're doing it. But Steve, this has come up a lot in your work that, building homes for everyone includes all of us as we get older. So aspects of universal design, I think, should be a pretty good selling point in houses, frankly.
Yep.
But for these specific issues, all related to doorways, exterior doors and doorways, how do we deal with that? Because we can't get zero threshold. Yeah.
Well, you can. You just have to plan for it, right? We've 10-inch foundation wall. Let's say it's a lift and slide door, has a 7-inch section. We'll bring our joists into the inside 3 inches of the foundation wall, and then we'll just build a little pony wall of 2x8s and set it outside the band joist and drop it down 1 inch or so and create a pan that's lower than the floor.
So you're basically dropping the door rough opening, right? To make it a zero entry door.
The challenge becomes
smart.
How do you deal with simple things like a rug when you pull thresholds down that far? It's fine.
Well, it's not. Well, it's I mean, it's going to be zero entry. It's not going to be quite like we're doing one right now, right? The Forever Home series on the Build Show, and that's how I can come up with it quick because we had to figure that out how we're going to drop it down because we want to be able to get a wheelchair in and out. Mm-hmm. And there's still I don't know, it's probably a 1/4 or 3/8 inch lip on the inside of the lift and slide door. So there's still a little to overcome.
Which still can be enormous because one of the things that a lot of people forget is when you have aged in place and you're in need of a wheelchair, your spouse that lives with you and is potentially your caregiver has also aged in place and is the one operating the wheelchair. And now you don't have a 20-year-old man
Get one of those
fireman hauling you around over these
joystick
thresholds.
models. But I mean, you could lower it. You're going to live without a carpet at the door.
Which becomes, then what are we recessing into the tile, a rug and things like that?
Well, if we did a quarter of an inch and you put a rug in, it's arguably that the rug is the ramp now.
Yeah.
Taking it to zero.
Absolutely.
So you just have to, I think you just have to plan for it.
Yeah.
It's not.
Lift and slides are easy because you can just sink the threshold. You can provide drainage on the outside, weeps, drains that lead to places. Even if you're going to have a concrete patio on the outside, you can also have drainage on the outside. Those are way simpler.
Yeah, and all of the European hinge doors have a zero entry ADA sill option.
Oh, that's cool.
They do. They don't seal anywhere near as nice as the other ones. There are thresholds that you can buy, or weather stripping that you can buy for doors that when the door closes, drops down. That helps with things like that. I can't think of the company name that makes the one that's the most popular, but it's just a pin that sticks out of the end of the edge of the door, and so that when the door closes, the sweep sits.
Oh,
it's a very simple mechanism.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it helps with weather sealing. But that's not a door that's on the front of a 4-square with no front porch or something. That's a door that has to be protected. So yes, it's an incredible challenge. It's the thing that the industry has not done an amazing job solving for yet. We've done all these things where we figured out that if you make a hallway 3'8" instead of 2'8", that there's way more ability to work in, or all the things that we do for bathrooms and all the grab bar accessories that are available and all the little stuff that we do from anti-scald devices to grab bars to...
And honestly, I mean, in most of our houses now, the hallways, we used to do like 40-inch, 41-inch hallways, that would finish an inch smaller. So you do 41, you end up with 3'4". Nowadays, we're up around, 47-inch.
Is that right?
49-inch. And all of our doors are, the smallest door is probably a 32-inch, 2'8".
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. What's the width of a wheelchair?
Depends on the wheelchair.
No, I know, but around average. Because people are always worried, I need it. You got to make sure I have a big door because, in case we use a wheelchair. Most people don't even know how wide a wheelchair is. It's only like 26, 27 inches. So you don't need a 36-inch door. You can go through a 30-inch door in a wheelchair.
We used to do it
easily, but you can.
We used to do a ton of work for assisted living company in Columbia, and their written standard was like all but, I think at the time they had like 90 clients, and all but one of their wheelchairs would fit through 34 inches.
Yeah.
And it was like that wheelchair was one that wasn't really a wheelchair. It was kind of a bed that moved around.
It's like a bed with a joystick.
Yeah.
A lot of the work on this was done at the NHP Research Center when I was working there through a HUD-funded project. And there was a company called, I think it was Barrier Free Environments. He was a consultant who was completely confined to a wheelchair and also had, my understanding is, he had difficulty speaking. So he had an assistant with him that helped him in meetings. And he was fired up. I mean, he was not taking being confined lightly. He was a feisty guy to deal with and forced us to think, really hard about these issues. What I don't know is, can you go someplace where there's a body of details that the federal government, like they did for the Building and Rec Program, has had someone design them, and then they become part of the resources to encourage people to do this?
I don't know what the ADA says.
I mean, the ADA has all kinds of drawings and diagrams of dimensions and stuff, but I mean, actual drawings like of a cross-section of a cell, no, that's a one of.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Number 3. Prefab foundations. Hello, Unbuilt Podcast
They're
crew.
precast.
Prefab.
You're pre-commenting.
Ooh.
This guy calls us a crew. No one's ever called us a crew before. I'm a huge fan of your podcast, the knowledge that you all freely provide.
A compliment or an insult to me?
Crew? I think that's a compliment.
Well, it could be a compliment, like, hey, you guys are a crew, but it could be an insult to me personally.
Oh, because
that you guys are now put on the same level as me, and that we're an equal crew.
Sure.
We're going to have to do an intervention here.
Somebody's getting a little full of themselves today.
The knowledge that you all freely provide, and especially the superior insight of Steve, and your professional perspectives are so enlightening to the casual building enthusiast DIYer. I thoroughly enjoy the comedic banter. Is that what we're doing right now? Among you, and look forward to the jokes that Steve tells. It's written right here. Did you add that in there? You guys have talked at length about superior walls. Steve is, by the way, pumping like he's doing a horn on a Peterbilt truck. You guys have talked about superior walls and briefly about permanent wood foundations. I was wondering if you guys have any thoughts on pros and cons of each. I've been looking at doing a basement made out of extreme panels, foundation SIPs, and using Polyguard products for the waterproofing. Does that seem like a good solution, or is concrete always going to be the better solution? Did you completely understand that?
No.
I've been looking at doing a basement made out of extreme panel foundation SIPs.
I didn't know that there were.
I didn't know extreme panel
SIPs.
made basement SIPs.
I didn't either. Gosh, should have taken a quick look at that before I decided to host this episode. Donk. And using Polyguard products for waterproofing. That's a weird, I guess you would have to use special or particular waterproofing if you were going to make an underground SIP panel part of your foundation system. Does that seem like a good solution, or is concrete always going to be the better solution? Oh, I think what he's saying is we have precast superior wall panels and permanent wood foundations, and he slid from permanent wood foundations to using SIP panels below grade.
Could it work?
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of OSB below grade, but
I think there's a huge jump there from pressure-treated plywood as the sheathing and pressure-treated lumber as the framing to a SIPS waterproof with a Polyguard.
Does anybody make a SIPS panel with plywood on the outside of it? I've never seen one.
I don't know.
When I was working with Dave Gothard at Winter Panel, they had a bunch of different laminations of all kinds of stuff.
I can't see why they couldn't do it. Like there can't be that big of a difference between an OSB and a plywood panel.
Well, the plywood panel can kind of warp if one ply is wet and the others are dry. So
internal stress is different.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
Me neither.
I will.
Question for Extreme Panel or Ford Panel or one of those companies.
I didn't finish this. I know Jake and Steve did a permanent wood foundation project, so I'd be interested to hear their take on that installation, whether or not they like the idea, and if they would consider doing another one. Guys, Trevor.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So that project is now 1.5 years old, right? Yeah, something like that. Permanent wood foundation, ancillary building on a property. They are mostly full-time occupancy on it. They're out there every day. His and hers space. He has a basement. She has the upstairs. They have no problems with that building. It's performing just fine. I mean, God, we would suck at our jobs if we couldn't make something last 1.5 years. But Steve, they're both nodding their heads if you're only listening. Would we do it again? I think that it certainly is on the table. I don't think there's hardly anything that we've tried over the course of my career. Yeah, that would be like
heavily client driven.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we have to get rid of this or no concrete or something. And I don't understand the reason why, but.
Yeah. But I don't think there's hardly anything that we've attempted in my career that I wouldn't give a second go to. If it's done correctly.
And for the footing, for the permanent wood foundation that you did, Did you do a free draining gravel bed as your system?
Just like Superior Wall.
Yep.
And I can think of one advantage of this is that you could do it in the middle of winter and not have to worry about a bunch of additives. And, I guess even though I built in the Northeast, I was never involved enough in my brothers took care of the foundation systems below grade. So I don't know how much contortions you have to go through in terms of the additives for concrete when you're doing it in cold climate pours.
I mean, I don't think we do a whole lot.
A lot of people just wait 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think it's just commercial. Like most of the contractors will wait to get a week where it's 40 or 50 degrees.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that. But certainly, did you find it appealing that you were able to frame a foundation as opposed to pour it?
It was an interesting endeavor. I don't think that I discovered anything that was necessarily wrong with it.
Or overwhelmingly great.
No.
Like it was just different.
What did you do with the above grade portion of the wood foundation on the outside?
We got basically siding to within a few inches of grade. Yeah.
And so the little bit that was exposed, you didn't worry about? Painted it.
Yeah. It's just a solid color.
And the bond to the plywood, the PT plywood, was fine? Yeah, because, back when I was at the research centers, this had been in the mid-'90s, man, it was hard to find, in my memory, good quality fire-treated, fire-retardant plywood. It just always seemed to be kind of garbage.
Right after plywood came out, though, right?
Oh, he cuts deep. So, Trevor, Steve and Jake are giving you more than enthusiastic support for doing a permanent wood foundation.
I think all those systems, that Superior Wall, I don't know about the extreme panel. I would have to think long and hard on that one. And it would have to be the right site. Like you'd have to go out there, dig a hole, and not see like any evidence of water where you're putting it.
For all the wood foundation, like it's just a potential for challenge being an issue is much higher.
I'm going to say that we owe it to the listeners that we guarantee that on the resources for this, we're going to find out what the details are of an extreme panel that's
they have
that. I think you will. I think you will.
Yeah, I agree. You probably will.
I'm going to be really interested if this exists, what the details are, because
send me an email of what you find.
I do know your email, and I am going to copy you on my endeavors with this.
I'm glad they're called Pete's Resources.
Pete's Resources. Resources.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that
Jake's
is
homework.
I just volunteered one time. I was thinking, you guys are doing social media. I ought to work on the Pete's Resources because we didn't always do them, but we started. Yeah. And it's sort of like, it's almost like peer reviewing. Like if I can support what we said with a resource, then when people come, lambing at us, we can say, hey, show us what your resource is.
Yeah.
Show us your resources.
Battle of the resources.
Okay. I'm good. You guys are spot on, as they say. What do people what do people do if they want to ask us a question, Jake?
It's questions at the Unbuildit Podcast. We are not that hard to reach. Unbuilditpodcast.com.
I got you to say that. I've been saying the Unbuild Podcast. That's not part of the URL.
You're right. It's questions at unbuilditpodcast.com. Sorry. Or listen to every other podcast where I've been the one to tell you the right way to email us.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Since neither one of them remembers that we even have a email address. Closing thoughts, gentlemen?
No, I don't have a joke. I want to tell you about my dream I had last night.
Wait a minute. This is a family show, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It was weird. Not like that. Okay. Like you and Jake go right to the gutter. I don't go there.
I was saying it rather lightly.
You guys can go right to the gutter. That's fine.
You had a dream.
Had a dream that I was swimming in an orange ocean. Yeah, it was really weird. Turns out it was just fantasy.
What I like is you're on an orange theme. That's very interesting.
Till next time.
See ya.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
day.